Good morning. What a morning. Did you recover from reconnecting to our planet? The paradox of our times, I think that is that we live in the most connected of all times. And yet, people feel less capable of actually shaping their world, not more. Being connected should enable us to do more together. Because despite the progress, we still have work to do. And this is not an accident. It's a design choice. And today I want to talk about what we can do about it and why this room matters. Democratic life. The fundamental requirement of democratic life is that each and every individual feels that their choices and their actions actually matter. Agency. That sense that your choice and your actions is the foundation of both democracy and, of course, of climate action as well. That it's not ridiculous when you make a climate-wise choice, but that it's part of a system that is working. But the thing is that the dominant social platforms, they have systematically eroded that sense of agency. And the journey that they have brought us through is the journey from being a citizen to being a consumer to being a commodity. And you know, the citizen participates, deliberates, takes responsibility. The consumer chooses between maybe preset options, but also encourages to innovation, exercises that muscle of making choices and leaving one shop for the next if they don't like the quality of the prices or the services. When you get to becoming a commodity, then you're the product. And attention, your attention, is just being sold to the highest bidder. And the fact is that we're actively being untrained to take decisions and take responsibility. And that is actually not the fault of the algorithm in itself. Because algorithms, they are designed by people. And those people, they buy into business models. And those business models, they have incentive structures. So as always, responsibility rests with the people who made those choices. And of course, the investors who made it possible. Systemic change, that requires collective agency. People acting together with a shared sense of purpose. We can do this. We're different, but that diversity is our strength because that gives us different perspective. We can integrate with one another. We can make that systemic change happen. And social platforms could be a powerful infrastructure for that exactly. But so many problems these days, they are optimized to fragment attention, to reward outrage over reflection. As you just heard, we humans, we are wired for drama. And that wiring can be utilized. But it also means that community is being replaced with audience and addiction to be there. And that also means that the result is not just the polarization that we talk about, it's learned helplessness at scale. Climate action, democratic resilience, social cohesion, all depends on people believing I can make a difference. And we are building on sand if we do not have platforms to support those communities. to give us and enable that sense of agency. And there is an alternative. It's not a pipe dream, it's not a far vision. The alternative is actually here today. Because these platforms already exist. Those who enables community and agency and believe that it matters what each and every one of us actually do. There are platforms like Sleeve.fm who enables musicians to connect with their fans. It's not the algorithms that decides whose music is being played. There are platforms who help young adults navigate life outside of their parents' home. Because in more and more countries, the young adults, they live with their parents. There are platforms where the angler fishers, they share what they caught and where. And as a wife to an angler, I love that platform. Because there's somebody to tell. And there are hundreds of platforms out there. And these are not utopian projects. They're working, they're real, they're alive. And what they share, and I tell you, if you look at the inventory that we have built at Rebuilt, you'd see that they are very different. But they share that sense of community being created, not an audience just looking fascinated, captivated. They are designed to nourish relationships, not extract us from them. And they are governed by purpose, not engagement metrics. There's something they are missing, though, and that is scale, that is funding, and that is visibility. People cannot find them. And I'm part of a project called Rebuilt, because we have done it before. Like all that progress we just saw, there is a solution and we actually know what to do. So Rebuilt organizes the supply side of European social platforms, a marketplace of purpose-driven alternatives, making them findable, investable, and scalable. We have registered far more than 160 platforms. So switching is not just something that we can dream about. It is something that we can enable because they're out there. They're just waiting while they struggle. So the question is not whether better platforms exist. The question is whether we will give them the conditions to grow. Because there's no community building without the network effects. And there's no community if you feel that you're the only one trying that new exciting platform. So why here? Why do I think this matters to you? Well, because you operate outside the usual sort of quarterly earning calls. You can take the long view. You can support infrastructure that doesn't monetize in year 2. And social platform infrastructure is climate infrastructure, is democratic infrastructure, because it supports people in finding one another and creating that agency and that community. You can build durable collective actions with the social platforms that are designed to do exactly that. And that is the opportunity. Invest in the stack underneath the movement. Not just the campaigns, not just the awareness, but the enabling things. These are digital commons where people organize, deliberate, where they act, so that they see and they know that it matters. And I think that is what your leadership is about today, enabling other people. Because even if you doubled or tripled or even more, we will only have that needed fundamental change for our climate for our democracy if we bring more and more and more and more people on this planet on board. A future where choice, actions, agency matters. That's a future that is hard won. Because the addictions that we all suffer from, hard, or maybe not so hard, but we all have it because we are wired for drama. To fight that, to break that addiction, the promise of doing that work by investing of those who want to build communities, the price is the most amazing price because the price is being a citizen and being a human being with the integrity and the respect of that integrity. And that is the fundamental for change. Thank you.